to much larger in size.
Let's say you have a suicide incident where a lot of times suicides, high caliber weapon, point blank shot, a lot of biological matter is dispersed throughout the property, gets all over the walls. I mean, we've taken up paintings off the wall and found, stuff behind that. It's so detailed. And so our job is to go through, top to bottom, left to right, get out every last drop of any kind of contamination, because, not only for the health risks, and we're issuing a certificate, when the job's done, so we can't issue that in confidence without getting all the contamination out. But say we leave one little spot, and let's say it was a suicide in someone's kitchen. A couple days later, mom's cooking in the kitchen, pulls a pan off the rack and turns it over, finds a little, even just the tip of a pin point of maybe a blood on the pan or something like that. If she finds that, however small, it's going to be a traumatic reminder of what just happened a week before. It's going to prolong closure, and it really can initiate that psychological stress that we're talking about, that the family's at risk for. So our job is to go in, and this is the trained personnel who knows where to look. We're observing splatter patterns. We're not CSI folk, but we do know what we're talking about. We get in there, we look for clues, and we get everything out of there so they truly can obtain closure.
So often we hear, my uncle is an EMT. My father, he's a doctor. He can clean this up. It really takes a specialized service. Like Ben was saying, we know where to look. We know that spot on the carpet is much larger in size, and we know that those biological fluids are going to seep to the lowest point of saturation, and so many people don't know these technical terms and how body fluids move throughout a home. That is something that we have many years in experience on, and simply just because an EMT person works around blood, that doesn't necessarily mean that they know where biological fluids go in a house after an incident has occurred.
We're wearing a range of PPE, or personal protective equipment. Okay, what that is sort of coveralls, gloves, boots, face shields, respirators, which sort of look like a cross between a doctor and a Smurf by the time we get suited up, the blue suits and all that. And anyway, we have no gap in protection. So our gloves are taped to our suits. We swap out the gloves. We double glove up. That sort of thing. We're protecting ourselves fully. We're using a hospital-grade disinfectant, which can combat a range of bloodborne pathogens. Hepatitis B can live outside of the body. Some studies show up to 2 weeks. So if that's the case, we're on scene oftentimes that same day. We're well within that range of exposure to the risks, and especially if the family lives there, obviously they're there in close proximity to the time of the incident. So the risk is very present, and so we're wearing the PPE to also get away from that. We have a range of equipments that we use, such as ozone generators. When a body decomposes in a house for a long times, like a good example would be an elderly, grandma lives in a house by herself. If she passes away and the grandkids are on vacation, they're gone for a month, they don't check up with grandma, and she passes away, that can be a decomposition incident. So stemming from that is strong odor. We use the ozone generators to combat that situation, and that's an industrial grade solution. You can't have something in your house that can get out that potent of a smell. Even apartment complexes, they have some of their own ozone generators and whatnot, but those are like an at-home use, to mildly filter out the air. What we use, you can't safely breathe in any quantity. So basically, we have equipment that is not something you can just check out.
Such a critical part of our business is our relationship with law enforcement.
There's this relationship that has to be there. For example, we can't go and clean up unless we've confirmed that a scene is released. So we oftentimes will call dispatch for the responding authorities connected to that scene. We'll call dispatch, confirm that the scene has been released, so we're not, cleaning up any kind of mob incident or whatever, and confirm they're done, and then also we'll prompt them for any evidence that they may or may not have missed.
We are the last people that see the evidence, and they have to know who these guys are. I mean, if crime scene cleanup companies are just rampantly running around cleaning up crime scenes and there's not that communication that is established, then you're going to have a lot of underhanded stuff going on. You're going to have a lot of people cleaning up situations that haven't been looked at by law enforcement. And to go along with finding evidence and things of that nature, the investigation is very surface level. They do get down, they overturn some things, but when we're on scene, everything is getting overturned because we have to get all of that property out. All the biological material has to come out. And that is where we're in a perfect position to find these shell casings, to find these rounds that they haven't found. And there's so much more that is out there that could possibly be found. We've found false teeth that have led back to the assailant. We've found their loot bags and all sorts of things that we have found. And to go along with the teamwork that happens between us and law enforcement, anytime we come across anything like that, shell casing, round, whatever, we are going to shut that scene down. We are not going to do any more cleanup. We'll take a break. We'll photograph everything, and we're going to call those law enforcement officials back out to the scene so they can properly take up their evidence.
We've actually had situations where people have, given us a ring and said, "Hey, do the police have to show up before y'all come out?" Things of that nature. We've had, crazy questions, and we've stopped the conversation and given the authorities a ring because there are those kind of people out there too. So anyway, that illustrates the importance of confirming that scene release. If you've experienced some kind of traumatic incident in the home, homicide or suicide or even a natural death, know that there's people out there that you can call, at any time of the night. There are people like us out there who can help you, and this can be done, all under the auspice of your insurance policy. And we're out there to help. And you can find us by Googling Biotrauma or anything like that. And there's people who care about what you're going through at this time.
If you call us at 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve, you're going to get a team coming your way to help you with your problem. We will show up on scene and work through the night until your property is properly remediated.
When we were in Iraq, our mission was to provide closure to families who've experienced a death of their servicemen overseas. We have not abandoned that mission. It is our calling to assist in that way. We have the skills to do it. We haven't left them alone. We're continuing that mission now in the private sector, but we've adhered to all of our values as learned in the Marine Corps. They're tried and true. In the most stressful settings, we have performed, and we're going to continue to perform for the families of America, and that's something everyone needs to know.